There is transfer drama and controversy brewing in the football world surrounding Chelsea and their business with the Saudis. They are currently in talks to sign four Chelsea players: Hakim Ziyech, Mendy, Koulibaly, and Aubameyang, and possibly others. Could recuperate up to 80 million euros, and more importantly, clear up their enormous wage bill. This news has definitely caused a lot of football fans to question the legitimacy and the ethics of their dealings. Zach, with you being the Chelsea fan, what are your thoughts on this whole situation?
You know, to be honest, I love Saudi. Saudi is basically funding our entire squad revamp by buying all of our deadwood players and getting all of their enormous wages off of the books. Getting around 80 million for Koulibaly, Ziyech, Aubameyang, and Mendy. This is a Todd Bowley masterclass, whether you like it or not. Rival fans cry when we buy players. They cry when we sell players. Let's just be honest. If it was your club getting this money from Saudi for bad players, you wouldn't be complaining. Let's just be honest. You would not be complaining. It's not like they are overpaying us for bad players. They are paying fair prices for what these players are worth. I think people are genuinely just scared because they know Chelsea are coming back. We've had bad seasons in the past. And, we always bounce back. We have always bounced back. We've cleared wages off the books. We've recouped a lot of money. Caicedo is coming. Nicholas Jackson is coming. Another starting number 9 is coming. We will finish in the top 4 next season. I have no doubts about it. Until then, I will continue to enjoy laughing at all of the rival fans crying. Your tears are absolutely refreshing.
That might just be the most delusional, biased thing you've ever said in the history of this channel. Of course, since it being Chelsea, you have not one single issue with this. But if it were, let's per se, Arsenal, you'd be on here singing a whole different tune. But I will let you just live in that delusion. Me, as a football fan first, am going to say this might be the end of the beautiful game. The game that we know it, this could destroy football. And let me tell you exactly why. Because part of running a football club is making signings. A lot of these signings cost a lot of money, big wages. And there is a bit of drama and consequences to signings because there's never a guarantee. You could sign a player for 100 million euros and put him on 500 pounds per week or 500K per week and then be a flop. And then you are stuck, and that sets your club back a lot. This new dealing that Chelsea are doing completely wipes that away. There is no longer any consequences of signing bad players. Chelsea can go out there and buy 600 million of lot shit. They could literally go buy 600 million pounds of shit and then sell it to Saudi and clean their hands of it and say, you know what, we sent it out, no consequences. Just imagine if Barcelona had this opportunity to do this when they signed the horrible signings of Coutinho, Griezmann, and right now Dembele. That's almost 400 odd million worth of transfers and God knows how much wages. Imagine if they could have just wiped that all away just by sending them all to Saudi. Saudi buys them all. They clear the wage bill. Barca wouldn't be in the financial situation they are right now. That's the consequences of that. That's why it ruins the football pyramid. Quite literally, soon, if your club is not Saudi state backed, you might as well not even be a fan. You might as well not show up. Don't watch the games. Don't buy the kits because if you're not backed by a state, there's no point. You're never going to compete. And look, I know it might be too much to say, the whole small club dream has to die, but before it was maybe, a 1% chance. I know Leicester City was the one black sheep in the herd that was the 1 in a billion. And I'm not saying West Ham or none of these teams, you can never do that. But now that more of this Saudi has more power and there's no more consequences, like soon, Man United is going to be owned by Saudi. So that's going to be another whole can of worms. You're not going to have a shot. If it was a 1% shot before, it's fucking zero now. There's not a chance because they're able to spend recklessly without any consequence. They can spend, 100 odd million on Brazilian 16-year-olds, then be garbage, and then just ship them off to Saudi. Look, it's going to ruin football, and someone has to step in. The higher ups in football have to put up a kibosh to this because this is not right. It's going to ruin football. It's ruining the pyramid of football and everything the game is stand for.
Look, I understand what you're saying, but my thing is, everyone wants to hate on Chelsea for doing this. But the fact of the matter is, if it was your club, you wouldn't care. If it was your club that was offloading your deadwood, because every club has deadwood, let's be honest, it doesn't matter if you're Arsenal, Man United, Real Madrid, Barcelona. Every club has a couple players that you wish you didn't have. It's just the reality of football. And if you could get money back for these players that, look, first of all, this Chelsea situation, people are acting like Koulibaly, Ziyech, and Mendy had no offers from any other club. Koulibaly was wanted back in the Serie A.
And
Ziyech
not
was
for his
wanted by
wage
multiple
bill.
other
That
clubs.
wasn't going to happen for his
It-
wage bill.
But the fact of the matter is, these players are not like terrible players. It's not like Saudi is saying Koulibaly is worth 20 mil, but we're going to give you 70. If that was the case, even though I'm a Chelsea fan, I would say, okay, that's we're questioning the legitimacy of the game now. This could ruin football. But that's not what's happening here. They are not overpaying. They're paying fair prices. And let's just be honest, they have the money. And yes, are they taking on huge wages? Yes, that's the reality of the situation. That is true. But if it was your club, you wouldn't care. And look, I do think at some point there is going to be some kind of rule implemented that ultimately a cap or something along those lines that changes it. But as we saw, Chelsea, led by Todd Bowley, of course, they were the ones that were signing players to these long deals so that they could spread out the transfer fee so that they would be avoiding FFP by they're spending 600 million, but the way that they're doing it with the contracts, they can spread out the money and then basically avoid FFP. This is another way that Chelsea's getting around FFP. And look, you can say that it's messed up. You can say that, that needs to change, but football is a business. Todd Bowley is the ultimate businessman. He knows what he's doing. He's smart. And because our owner is outsmarting every other football club in the world by doing these things to get around FFP, people are mad about it. Ultimately, what needs to happen is FFP needs to be reformed. There needs to be no loopholes. It shouldn't be this easy for an American businessman that everyone said was delusional. He doesn't know what he's doing. He won't cut it out in the English game. You know what I mean? He doesn't know football. Well, all I know is that Todd Bowley has come to football, and he's found 2 loopholes in 1 year to get around FFP. So that only signals to me that FFP needs to be changed. This is not a Chelsea issue. This is an FFP issue. So I think the people at UEFA or FIFA, they need to get back in the lab and they need to fix FFP. That's what needs to happen here. It should not be this easy for loopholes to be found to get around FFP. That's the ultimate reality of the situation. FFP is a joke. What's the point of having FFP? You know what I mean? What's the point?
I've had my problems with FFP as well, but I think more of the people that are calling into question is just Todd Bowley's relationships with some of the Saudi, investors, how the web kind of goes so deep. Like, this is a very deep rabbit hole, and how they're able to just offload all these players, the secret meetings that they've had together. That's what I think is rubbing more people the wrong way of just how they're conducting their business. Because the Saudi Pro League has been buying players from teams for a long time now, but we haven't seen something quite like this to where players that were deemed unsellable, with contracts, some of the worst contracts in all of football, are all get taken up. That's what people are having a problem with. And, just like they're trying to offset, what's the left back's name? I'm in brain fog. Cucurella to Newcastle. There's a connection in there between the Saudi owners and their investors. That's what people are having a problem with.
My thing is, there's always relationships between football clubs. There's always, for example, Florentino Perez came out and said that Real Madrid has a very good relationship with Borussia Dortmund. When Real Madrid is looking to sell players, they're going to call Dortmund and say, do you want one of our players? And when Dortmund is going to sell a player, they're calling Real Madrid and said, would you like our player? There's always going to be good relationships between football clubs.
Yeah, those happen, but you have to look at the deals, look at the situations that, this makes sense. These deals make sense. Right now, them buying up those 3 contracts, kind of like you side eye. You're like, why are you doing that? Why?
But see, my thing is,
3 of these
you question Koulibaly, but Koulibaly is one of the best. First of all, Koulibaly is a Muslim. You know what I mean? He's a Muslim. It makes sense for Saudi to say Koulibaly is one of the best.
And that makes sense that Koulibaly would want to. I mean, that's
exactly. It makes perfect sense.
Why Karim Benzema wanted to go to a Muslim state.
It makes sense. It's not like it's not too far-fetched. I think my thing is people are hating on it because it's Chelsea. Chelsea is the club people love to hate. And that's ultimately kind of why I started to fall in love with Chelsea back in the day, because people hate Chelsea. I love Chelsea. I love being the one that is hated. That's why I love players like Diego Costa. You know what I mean? Everyone hates him, but if he's on your team, you love him.
He's a fraud.
That's my thing. I love that.
My more problem with it is just how Todd Bowley's conducted the business. I don't like that there's so many secret meetings
Yeah.
and dealings
And
and
it,
all that. That's my
you
only problem with
yeah,
it. But look,
I get that. I get that.
has he gone out and straight broken any rules?
Exactly.
He hasn't broken any rules that
Exactly.
that aren't made yet. But the problem is just the ethics of it. It's like, the sacredity of football, and that even goes into another whole different type of topic that can go on for hours about how the game has already been very corrupt and already been tarnished. But this is a whole nother level. I think football fans all collectively came together to abolish the Super League. When the Super League was announced, everybody went in arms, and I think people should be approaching this the same way. This cannot be allowed. This cannot be allowed to continue because it takes away, like I said, the more of the stakes.
So then, what
of
do you have to
making
say? What do you have
transfers.
to say about Man City?
Well,
What do you say about Newcastle?
Man City, Newcastle haven't really dipped their toes that much.
They're going to.
Yeah, they're going
It's
to.
inevitable.
It's inevitable. People know that, but that's why they have to try and get ahead of this before it gets too out of hand.
I agree. I agree. But my thing is
fair. The only thing City have done is they've
spent
allegedly spent more money than they've earned, which they're currently trying to argue in court.
They broke a rule, though. That's my thing. If they broke a rule, they should be punished. But if Chelsea were breaking rules, we should be punished. I 100% agree with that. There's no doubt in my mind. And I say that about my club. If we are breaking rules right now, we should be punished. Just like I would say about any other football club. But we're not breaking any rules. And my thing is, that just goes to show that the system is what needs to be changed. And people are getting mad at Chelsea right now, but all we're doing is exposing this system. We're exposing that FFP is a joke. We're exposing that you can easily get around FFP. We did it in January, and we're doing it now. FFP needs to change. Don't take out your anger on the FFP on us. That's my thing. People are just, instead of going at FFP, they're going at us. Go at FFP. That's my thing. Go at FFP. FFP needs to be changed. That's my issue with football.
I agree. FFP definitely has to change. It's definitely been a joke for a long time. But
why is it even there?
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of like something that people have always used as a joke in the group chat. Is that you just can't sign everybody. But
like everyone always makes the joke, like, "Oh, FFP's coming for you." FFP never comes for anybody. Really.
When was the last time FFP punished somebody? Was that Chelsea back in 2017?
Yeah, when we got a transfer ban.
Yeah, a transfer ban, but it rarely happens.
It just doesn't really happen.
We're just gonna have to wait to see how this develops more and how this goes. But we just felt this was something important that had to be talked about, especially since it had to do with Chelsea. So
well, and of course, this is the situation that's going to continue to develop. And look, this is not going to be the last player that is bought by Saudi. I mean, we are seeing Saudi apparently ready to bid 150 million for Bernardo Silva. They've already bought Ruben Neves.
They want to get Heung-min Son.
They want to bring in Son. Look, my thing is, if you are hitting on Chelsea right now for how what's going on with the Saudis, if Son ends up going to Saudi, I want to see the same energy for Tottenham. If Thomas Partey ends up going to Saudi, I want to see the same energy for Arsenal. If you're going to hit on Chelsea for selling players to Saudi in this way, when other clubs sell their players to Saudi, I want to see the same energy. That's all I'm saying.
I think that's a little different. Because it's not the same thing. It's not the same.
We're talking about. I mean, Thomas Partey. He has a high wage bill, an injury-prone player. If Arsenal get 50 million for Thomas Partey, I'm not saying that he's not worth that, but I'm saying, you know what I mean? Whatever. If you're going to hit on Chelsea for selling their players to Saudi, clearing the wage bill, when other clubs do the same thing, because it's going to happen. Right now, it's just Chelsea, but it's going to happen. Saudi are bidding for more players. It's inevitable. You know what I mean? Keep the same energy. That's all I ask. And I don't think people will. I don't think you know what I mean? Tottenham fans, if any Tottenham fans are hitting on Chelsea, when Son is gone and they get a lot of money for Son from Saudi, they're going to be laughing to the bank in the same way that I laughed to the bank earlier in this video. So all I say is, if you're going to hate on Chelsea right now, and plenty of people are, and that's okay, keep the same energy when Saudi does the same thing to other clubs. That's all I ask.
We'll have to see.
Yeah, it's one of those things, like I said, it's a developing situation. If anything more comes out, let's just say a transfer ban does happen or anything of that sort, we'll be making a video on it. So, stay tuned to the channel, subscribe to the channel for more about this situation. We'll be making more videos on it as the situation develops. Let us know in the comments down below what you think about the situation. Is Chelsea a corrupt club? Does FFP need to change? What do you think about the whole Saudi situation? Let us know in the comments down below. We'd love to hear your thoughts about it. Drop a like on the video. And I think without further ado, we can wrap this one up.
Let's get out of here.
So, I'm Zach.
I'm G.
And we'll see y'all next time for another video on the channel. Peace.